Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to use the school browser to help benefit how students are doing. I'm also going to show you how to add driving questions and objectives to your projects. So the first thing is, after you log in, if you go over here and go down to school browser, this is a great way to do some searching for students. I know that teachers, you have some other back doorways that you probably go, but I guess this is my back doorway to go. The school browser, if you look up at the top, has four categories. So the first one is projects, and that shows you all of the projects that exist. The second is courses and agendas. So you can actually click and see the courses and agendas for the day. Today there is no class, so I don't have a little caret here that I could click and see the agenda. But if normally there would be a caret right here like this, and you could see the agendas for the day. Here's students and enrollment. This usually takes a little bit to load, but I'm able to search for a student, and I can see how they're doing in one shot. But then also, if I want to see, like, do I have kids who are struggling, I can show kids with red indicators. A red indicator shows up if a student is failing, or if they've not completed something, or they've had 2 or 3 low grades in a row. So I can select this red, and now over here I can see this student has 3 classes. One of the classes has a red, and I can slide in here and find out which class it is, and I can go a little deeper and find out why that is red. So we would have to go check that out. If you actually assign an IAC, it will go right here. Now you actually have to click the box and make it an IAC, otherwise it doesn't show up. So if you want to select IACs here, and then you can go in and you can see what the IAC is, and it's a great way to search and see what's going on. I'm going to go back to projects here. One of the things that as you search down through a project, if you see this little I, that means it has a driving question. If it doesn't have an I, that means there was no driving question put next to the project. Well, the students and the parents can see the driving question. If there isn't one there, they are not able to see the driving question. So let's go figure out how we can add a driving question, and let's see what this driving question is. Obviously, we just showed it when it popped up when I hovered over it. This is what the students will see when they go into the project. They can see the driving question. If we were to go back and choose another one, and I'll just select anything random, there's a problem statement here, so they've actually selected that to it, but we don't see the driving question unless it's been added. So that would be added in a different spot. So driving question part does not show up, but notice you can put a description with the problem statement in, and we'll look and see if we can find that when we get going here. So how do I find and add a driving question? By selecting my project, I need to go into the editor. If I select the editor, I'm going to have, look, objectives are there too. We'll come back to that. But this is what's visible to students. This is visible to students, teachers, and observers. So the observers are parents. Here's the driving question. How did that get there? Well, I had to go to this little spot here, and that's what makes it hard, is that it's hard to find these little areas. And I hit edit, and then inside of edit, I need to hit settings. From settings, I can see these are my project settings. This is the date of the project. I need to go down here to where it says metadata. And here I can add the description. That's where the problem statement was and the one I just showed you. Or I can add the driving question down here. I can also put any information here that's only visible to teachers. But we really want to put this driving question for sure, and it's not a bad idea to put the problem statement right there. Notice some other things that are here. I can actually put my objectives in for the whole project, and I can choose the objectives from the slide right there. And so that's a way I can connect all of the standards to the project. Now, sometimes we want to attach a standard only to an assignment, so I'll show you that in just a second. But realize that you can add them, boom, right there. All of the standards have been loaded into Echo. This is visibility. If you ever want to say who can see it and who cannot, you can select those different options. And then there's advanced activity options. Really, this is just to send you the code to get kids to sign in. Badges is a fun little thing. You can choose a badge, and students can actually earn a badge as they complete the project. So kind of a neat way to give some rewards if anybody wants to look through that. Let's go back now and look more at how we could add objectives. So there's this little caret here, and that expands, and it shows you all of the objectives. So if I want to, notice that the NTLOs are here, but also the science objectives are down here a little farther. So we can choose anyone to develop a model. So if this was a standard we want to the whole project, we can slide it over here, and that's how we would add it to the whole project. If I slide down here, I can add an objective just to one of these benchmarks, or if there's something more detailed underneath, I'm not seeing one right now, but if there was one, like here, I can add an objective just to this one assignment. So adding the objectives allows it to be the objective to be viewable to the students so they know exactly what standard they're meeting. It also lets the parents see it because then they know what standard they're meeting. And as students complete it, it will show how far along they are to completing that standard, and it will show it complete. So at the end of the project, students should be able to go back and see that all of their standards were complete. Now that's not necessarily mean that you're putting a grade with it. It just shows that that standard was completed. So these are some fun ways that you can get better at using the school browser, but also at adding driving questions, problem statements, and standards to your projects that will make them more transparent to parents and students and any other observers that might be looking at your project, and let them know exactly what students are expected to know and do.